Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. Yesterday, which was the 22nd of June, which is Monday, was a perfect example of our multi-time frame analysis that I've been looking at in previous videos. And I want to show you a bit more detail on the ES. Here's a 3-minute chart of the ES. If I zoom in a bit, you can see the market went up, made new highs, declined down. Then we had a TS3 sell later in the day. We also had a failed buy set up there as well. So how do we know how to trade this in the direction of the large degree trend? Well, we go out to the higher time frame chart and we place DPs on from previous pivots. So the most obvious previous pivot was this major high here. This was also the end of or the start I should say, of a prior 5-wave sequence, so we know to use that pivot as well, but I'm not going to look at that in this particular video. So we go up to this pivot, right mouse click, do DP, and that places the DP on the chart. Now the beauty of these is they are on the chart in advance. They're there before the market even gets there. And we were actually looking at this live in yesterday's training webinar with MTPredictor customers, where we had that level on the chart itself, and the webinar finished basically at 11:30, which would have been about here, just as the market was going up to that level. So when I was looking at it, I was saying that the market may well rally a little bit more, because I was doing my talk at around 10:45, 10:30, which was 11 o'clock, 10:45, 11 o'clock, which was here. I was saying that this next area of resistance was an area that would be of interest and where market was likely to reverse. So again, that was actually on the chart in advance, as we had in a live training webinar yesterday. And you can see what the market did. It went up there, and look where the high of the day came in yesterday, right at that DP level. So this is the beauty of these. These are leading indicators. In other words, they're leading levels on the chart in advance. And as you can see, they catch highs and lows very, very nicely sometimes. So let's now come down to a 3-minute chart and have a closer look at this. And there we are. You can see there's the day. If I zoom in and look at that, caught the level there absolutely perfectly. So what was the large degree trend? Well, the large degree trend was up into that level. Once it hit that level and then reversed, which would have been around the 11:27, the large degree trend would then have been deemed to be down. And as you can see, that means that we'll be looking for sell setups. So if I zoom in a bit, the trades we'll be looking at for the rest of the day would have been sell setups. So therefore, when this TS3 sell came in a bit later in the day, this was an ideal trade setup because it was in the direction of the large degree trend. We right mouse click over the red sell bar, place our analysis on, and there's our trade, and you can see the market went down to the first target there just before close for a nice profit of 3R. Remember, we use correct position sizing to keep our initial risk small and under control, in this case less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account. The profit at the first target would have been approximately 3R, or 3 times greater than that initial risk. This buy setup that we had here with our little history triangle would have been ignored because it was against the large degree trend coming off the high there. So this was a very, very nice trade because it was really obvious and in the direction of the large degree trend. And I hope this has been a good example to show how easy these levels are to place on the chart, and how they're pictorially on the shorter time frame as well. So when you come down time frames, that stays on the shorter time frame as well, so you can easily see it. So when you're on your 3-minute time frame, you can see that we hadn't reached this large degree resistance yet until it got up to that level. It reversed back down. You then knew that your large degree trend was down. You knew you should be looking for sell setups. There it was, came up in your scanner. Remember, you have your scanner running there, so it would have actually alerted you to the trade setup when it came in. And that was it really. So a very nice trade and a good example of how multi-time frame analysis was used on the ES yesterday to first of all catch the high of the day. Isn't that amazing that you had that level on the chart in advance that nailed the very high of the day for you? You then knew the large degree trend was down for the rest of the day, and therefore you're looking for sell setups. And there was the nice tier 3 sell setup that resulted in a nice profit of 3 times greater than initial risk. So a very nice and clear and clean and obvious day yesterday. This is also what I mean when I've been talking with our MTPredictor customers about only trading when you get the best, clearest, cleanest and most obvious trade setups. We all know the markets go in cycles, where sometimes you can have it in a very sort of cloudy cycle, as I call it, driving through fog, where the pattern is very unclear. That is the time when you stand aside, you don't try and trade. The market then goes through other periods when it's really quite crystal clear, and this was a good example of this in that it was a really clear and obvious setup. So these are the kind of setups that you should be looking to trade, and if you do, it will make your trading so much easier by only looking to trade when you get the clearest and cleanest setups. And that was, I think, a very good example of that yesterday on the ES that resulted in a nice profitable trade just going into the last few minutes of trading there.